From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MVW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. We're going to kind of just talk through some stuff today. We're going to give any updates on the case that we talked about in detail yesterday. We'll see what else pops up over the course of this podcast. This morning is brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Know to get your lunch specials, your ribs, your daiquiris, all those things. Daiquiris as little as $3.99, as big as 44 ounces if you so wish. But the weather's pretty nice this week, so maybe take advantage of the lunch specials, the ribs, and more there at the Oxford Exxon. And you get good gas prices with the Mobile Rewards program, the Speed Pass Plus app, and more there on Highway 6 West. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark, tell Corey what Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes of business hours. It's that simple. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. It's just easy. You get your quote, and it can be a baseline for you moving forward, or it can be what gets you into your new Ford product today. You'll love the vehicle. I drive one. My wife drives one of my girls drives one. Lots of you guys out there drive one, so you know what I'm talking about. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. He'll prove that to you. All you got to do is make that call, 662-257-1900.
So, as everybody knows, if you've listened, if you haven't, then go listen. We dedicated yesterday's show to the murder case, the homicide in Oxford over the weekend, and for the most part, I feel like we've gotten good reviews of that. People glad we did it. Neal, I'll kind of let you give some thoughts here too. But we're kind of curious where to go here. We're going to have some updates on that today. We do feel like that it's a story everybody's talking about, the story that remains in the public conscious, if you will. So we're gonna keep going to it to some extent. I don't really know where that is with that, and there's no sports going on. It's July 24th. Ole Miss still a week away at least from football camp opening. Frankly, it's the last week to 10 days of not much at all going on. So because of that, I do feel like with public interest and everything else, this is the way to go, and we'll do our best to at least try to keep advancing the story to somewhat here. Yeah,
you always get a lot more feedback than I get because you know a lot more people than I do. And yesterday I got more feedback on a podcast than any podcast we've done since, I don't know, maybe the day Hugh Freeze was fired. It's the last one I can think. Maybe an NCAA investigation, NCAA verdict.
Right, maybe.
Day. A watershed day kind of a deal. So I think we did the right thing. There's a lot of people that have said, hey, keep going on it. And honestly, I don't necessarily know how to keep going on it other than just to start reporting it as if we were a news outlet reporting it. And I don't know whether that's in our lane or not in our lane. So we'll just kind of feel it out a little bit as we go. But it's all anybody's talking about here right now. And like you mentioned, football's still a week away. We've not gotten a notification from Ole Miss as to when the media day is or when fall camp begins. I haven't gotten it, at least. There's a basketball media opportunity tomorrow, I think, although I've not seen a firm time on that. There is a football recruiting event that's going to happen on Saturday. There will be some guys there, including a lot of guys that are already committed, and some top targets that are going to be on campus on Saturday for a while. It's been called a cookout by other people, and I've been told that it's not a cookout. It's just they're having guys in. So anyway, it's a recruiting opportunity for them on Saturday before the high school seasons get started in full swing and before fall camp begins, and they turn their attention to the 2019 season for a while. So there's sports coming, but there's no sports today, really. The The Athletic broke down NFL quarterbacks. We could become the 857,000th podcast/radio show to discuss that breakdown. There's just not a lot there. We could talk about how the Cardinals are catching the Cubs in the National League Central. That would interest a few people. There's just not a lot out there right now.
It's funny when you said that, because as soon as that Athletic list went up, every radio show in the country went 30 minutes to an hour right there. Boom, done. Period. That's
yeah.
Today. Today's show, done.
I was driving back from Chicago and was listening to ESPN 1000 on the ESPN app, and the Athletic ranked Mitch Trubisky, the Bears quarterback, number 25, and one show after another locked in on that list. I mean, is Mitch Trubisky better than Eli Manning? Is Mitch, all this stuff. It's just like, and you realize, what they're doing. I mean, the White Sox aren't in the race. Bears camp, I think, opens today, so they weren't quite to camp. You can only talk about the Cubs-Padres series so many times. You can only talk so much about a trade deadline. There's only so much talk you can have about, are the Cubs going to trade for Nick Castellanos or not? I mean, everybody's this way. It's like Stephen Godfrey said, the start of football season is not when a bunch of reporters roam the halls of a mall in Hoover. It's football season starts when practice starts. You can do 5,000 lists and stuff, but football season starts when practice starts. It's when it starts.
So let's give some updates. Most people here probably know this by now, but anyway, we'll just kind of set it up for our conversation. We move forward, whatever that conversation is going to be. You know by now that Brandon Thiesfeld was taken into custody on Monday. He was officially charged on Tuesday morning with the murder. He had his first court appearance yesterday, just a very, very preliminary thing. Denied bond, that kind of thing. Yesterday, there's video from Jake Thompson of the Oxford Eagle of him walking out of the courthouse back to the squad car. He was shackled in handcuffs and in the orange jumpsuit that most people would be aware of. And then also a lot of information coming out about how he was detained. He was at a gas station in the Memphis area. Walked into the convenience store. Somebody spotted the vehicle. Cop cars converged onto his vehicle in the parking lot, and I guess it was maybe a Memphis radio or TV station was the first people to have it, but said that it appeared that he had a weapon in his vehicle and had blood on his clothing. It appeared as well. There's surveillance footage showing him walking into that convenience store. One of the Memphis TV stations had that. And then they also had surveillance of showing all the cops around his vehicle. I know his father got into town yesterday. There was a picture or a video of him walking back to his vehicle on ABC or something like that last night, as well as it's becoming a bigger and bigger story by the minute, it seems like, from a national news publication standpoint. So that's kind of where we are. There will be another hearing at some point. Grand jury, I think I saw, meets back up at the end of August. I think I saw that yesterday, Neil, if I'm not wrong on that. So look, this is going to be a process, but as of right now, I feel like that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to do. I was somewhat critical of the Oxford Eagle yesterday. I'm going to turn around and be complimentary of it today. Their work yesterday was very, very good. That's what the public was waiting for. They did a great job. I thought it was an interesting day for the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department. The press release that they put out had a fascinating tone to it beyond the myriad of grammatical mistakes. I thought the tone was interesting. And you're right. This is a national story. The NBC as a reporter here, they if I got it right, they spent about 3 minutes this morning on NBC. It was on all the national news outlets last night. It's attracted the interest of the national media. I mean, really more than I kind of thought it would. Because at first it was, Therese said this yesterday. At first there was the mystery angle to it. This, college girl at a big Southern public institution is murdered and her body is found riddled with bullets 20 minutes away from campus and nobody's been arrested. There's a mystery there, but as the mystery is somewhat solved, at least a little bit, I kind of anticipated that the story would fade a little, and it did not fade. And there's a lot there that I think people are still wondering. There's been an arrest, so obviously law enforcement believe that they have their person, and to my knowledge, there's no other suspects that are at large. The police believe that the sheriff's department believes that he did it and that he acted at least mostly alone. I mean, I've heard rumblings of other arrests, but nothing of fruition has.
A lot of rumblings in this, just because, yeah.
Holy cow! But there's the thing that people are going to work on now, and the national media people and others is motive. What motivated a 22-year-old man to allegedly to murder a 21-year-old girl who he had
some semblance of a relationship with,
had been in a relationship, was in some semblance of a relationship. I don't think.
Yeah, well, whatever. That doesn't matter.
There's just a lot there, and then there's the big question. I mean, I think we can say this. I think we can say it in this way. The big question was she pregnant at the time? It's going to be pertinent for a number of reasons. Was she pregnant when she was killed? There is so much speculation out there that she was pregnant. I'm not saying she was. I'm not saying she wasn't.
That's simply the undercurrent that's going all over town right now.
But if she was, then obviously there are other questions that pop up at that point.
The sheriff's department, their release yesterday, for anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm reading straight here. On July 22, 2019, at about 4 p.m., the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations, arrested Brandon A. Thiesfeld of Texas for the murder of Alexandria Kostial of St. Louis, Missouri. Brandon will go before a circuit court judge this morning for an initial appearance. As stated in the earlier press release, we are not releasing details of the investigation as this is an ongoing investigation. We will release when it is appropriate and not before. We want to thank the family, Alexandria, for their patience and their trust in the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department. Brandon is in the Lafayette County Detention Center, and a booking photo will be available sometime this afternoon. Thank you, Alan Wilburn, Major. The photo was made available later in the day. It's all over Twitter. Considering the questions going around, I know a lot of media entities were having a hard time getting any answers or essentially an answered phone call yesterday from that department. The press release should have been looked at by a couple more people. There are lots of typos and grammatical errors in that release. Considering the scope of the case, that needed an extra look.
It misspelled there twice, I think. Yeah. It's stuff like that. You don't use his first name. You use his last name. You use the family name, not her first name. There's just a lot there that, and I'm sure that they appear to be angry at the criticism. But the truth is, and I'll double down on it, I'll make people mad, not many people mad, most people agree, they had their suspect in custody at 9:30 Monday morning. They formally charged him with murder, apparently, at some point Monday afternoon. They obviously aren't putting a hell of a lot of time and thought into the releases that they're putting out. So they could have thrown one together Monday afternoon and calmed things down. And when people say, well, no one should have been scared, well, people were. And you serve the community that you work for. That's who pays the taxes that pay for your salaries. Yeah, you absolutely owed an earlier explanation than that. He'd been arrested. He was booked. He was in jail. You could have still said, hey, we're not releasing any other details. It's an ongoing investigation. the questions weren't going to go away, but you could have settled it down some.
Just because of the way this process works, are we at the point now, other than potentially motive coming out and things like that, where this does slow down for a while?
I don't know. I think people are going to dig on it, and now everyone's trying to find people to talk. There have been a couple of people that have made really interesting posts on social media about their relationship. I think the status of this is going to be a lot of prurient interest here. It's a story that, look, it's every parent's worst nightmare. It's every parent's worst nightmare. As someone who's about to send a daughter off to college, this is worst nightmare stuff. This is the stuff that keeps you up at night. And then there are people that look at his social media, that go back and dig into his social media and say, how were there not... I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. This is the part that, and I'm not... If I got up and looked at one of my kids' social media and saw some of the things posted that he posted, that would have been that. He wouldn't have still been in college. We'd have been home. We'd have been working on some issues. I mean, I have a lot of questions about it. So I know that a lot of other people have questions about it. I don't think it slows down for a little while. I mean, it eventually does, because the court process is going to take time. This isn't going to fly. We're not going to have a trial by Halloween. It's going to be a while. But no, I think the quest for answers is going to be out there, and there's a lot of information that's floating out there that I don't know if it's been verified or whatever. There's a lot of rumor. There are screenshots of text messages that I don't know that have been authenticated, but there's a lot of information out there that I think it's safe. I think it's safe to say that if a lot of the information that is out there is accurate, there were almost some warning signs.
Even if just some of the social media things are accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, because one of her friends had a fairly explosive tweet yesterday that, I mean, it's just it's the way this thing works. I mean, it's not anybody's fault or whatever, but she made the tweet and then it was just media member after media member below it asking for comment. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, because I mean, it's the only, because like I said, when information is so scarce, it fills a vacuum and something's going to fill it. So that's what it was. It was one tweet, and suddenly she became the focus of probably 30 or 40 different media members all at once.
I'll say this: it's going to be very difficult. And I don't think this is normally the case, because normally most people don't keep up with local news anymore. People don't subscribe to local papers. People don't watch local news. If you've cut the cord, it's easy to find 12 people out there that don't have any freaking idea about a case. That might be a challenge on this one.
From a jury standpoint, yeah.
From finding a jury at some point, yeah. Who don't know anything about this case and haven't formed an opinion. Because it is all anyone is talking about in this town.
Got a couple thoughts there. We'll go there in a second. First, I'll tell you about Mastercut's Lawn and Landscape, premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi, but they offer a lot more as well to build your custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces with paver patios, forestry mulching, and much more. Your path to your dream backyard easier than you think. You can find them online at gomastercuts.com for a free quote, or 662-607-7773. Again, gomastercuts.com.
The football season will indeed be here pretty soon. There it goes. Sorry about that. Had a little audio issue. 7 South tailgating is the way to go if you are heading up to Ole Miss for 1 game, 7 games, anything in between. 7 South offers packages for any budget, any party size, any number of games needed, whether you're coming to 1 game, all 7, or 3 or 4 or whatever. They can build a tailgating package to suit your needs and your budget If you prefer to use your own tailgating gear, they'll store, maintain, clean, and repair that gear as needed throughout the season. If you prefer to rent some or all of your gear from 7 South, they offer many colors, types, and sizes to choose from. So call or go online today for a detailed quote customized to your specific needs. It's 662-321-1682 or visit 7southtailgating.com. At some point in the day, it probably has already happened, we'll have the crap take of the day. It's brought to you by Scoopers Pet Waste Removal, LLC. Everyone loves their pets, but no one loves stepping in their pet stuff. And tracking that stuff into the house is a nightmare. Scoopers will go into your backyard, your apartment complex, or your condominium and pick up what no one really wants to pick up. For $10 a cleaning, Scoopers will clean up your yard. They'll do it on your schedule, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or a one-time service. No contracts are required, and you can cancel at any time. If you have multiple dogs, it's just $2 for each additional dog. So if you own a home, a condo, or an apartment complex in Oxford and you'd like to deal with a lot less crap, call Scoopers, 662-506-2754, or send them an email at scoopers.oxfordpetwaste@gmail.com to get your cleanings scheduled today. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB is locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB has a commercial checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully interactive online banking. They can set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry about coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. To learn more about that account or anything at OUB, go to liveoxford.bankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And the Oxford Park Commission is currently registering for youth flag football and the fall baseball season. Leagues are open for ages 6 to 12 in football and 6 to 15 in baseball. The cost to sign up for football is $50, while it's just $40 for baseball. Each sport will be played at FNC Park. For more details, visit oxfordparkcommission.com.
So you have, and this is not the time to really necessarily delve into all the parts of this, but you have served on a jury that was looking at a murder trial. How many people did that voir dire start with? What are you looking at? What was the room like when you're first trying to fill a jury for something like that?
Yeah, so this was the day that Andy Kennedy announced that he's not staying.
You almost got arrested because you wouldn't kill off your phone in front of the bailiff that day, if I remember correctly. So,
yeah, I had a source from the day before that I knew that was coming. I was trying to confirm it. I was trying to break the story. I ultimately did. But yes, I did not want to get beat on that story, even though I had a really good excuse to get beat on that story. And I didn't want to get off my phone, and the bailiff kept telling me to get off my phone, and I told him I couldn't. And so we finally sort of reached a compromise. The room was full when we started. Lots and lots of people. And I had filled out a questionnaire beforehand, and here's the thing about me. I'm kind of a rule follower. I'm not too terribly much of a rebel. I'm not much of a renegade. I'm pretty much a rule follower. And I'd filled out that questionnaire not knowing what type of case I was going to get put on. And honestly, I had misunderstood. I'd gotten seated on another jury before, and we had like a couple of hours of testimony, and then the next morning the defendant pled. And so we got dismissed and were told we could go home. And so I thought because I'd already served on a jury that I would be excused from any jury duty. I was mistaken because that jury did not go all the way to reaching a verdict. So that day, after a while, after I realized what type of case it was, and I thought to myself, do I know anything about that? And my answer in my own mind was, I don't remember anything about that. And then it was like, how do you not know about that? But I didn't, and I wasn't in a place to like try to find out
Immediately,
details.
like Google it up, be like, "Oh yeah, I'm an expert. I watch that crap every day." Sure.
Yeah, because I kind of got myself in phone trouble earlier in the day, and I couldn't do it then because the story had already broken about basketball, and we'd gotten it, and we were good. And so this by late that afternoon, I'm beginning to realize I might be in trouble here, because I remember as it pertained to the death penalty questioning in that questionnaire, I had said that I really didn't have an opinion. And I know this won't shock you because you know me really well. I don't have a strong opinion on that. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I don't have an opinion on it. I still to this day don't have a strong opinion on it. And I had said that. And so now I'm thinking, okay, I'm watching all these people, including some people that I knew, walk up to the judge and say, hey, I'm morally opposed to the death penalty and I would not be able to follow the law. And I'm thinking, I can't do that because on my questionnaire, what if they catch me lying and they pull out my questionnaire and they say, well, here you said. And so I'm thinking, I can't do that. So I'm trying to come up with anything to get me off that jury, and I've got nothing. And I'm watching the room get whittled down.
Fixate, there was a break in the day where you called me and went, we might have a problem here.
Yeah, it's about 6 o'clock. They sent us home and told us to come back at 8. And I'm going, damn it. Because I called you and I said, I'm worried.
Yeah.
And so we got back at 8, and it wasn't much longer that they called out the 12 people and I think 3 alternates maybe, or 2 alternates, I don't remember, and boom, you're seated. And at that point they said, you've got an hour to go home, get a bag, and the hotel, you have to come to the hotel and check in with the I guess the sheriff's department, the court officers or whatever, and we'll give you a room and all that. And that's what happened to me. I mean, and I was like, it was like 9:45. I had to be at the hotel. I was not happy, as you recall.
Yeah.
Because I think I called you and you didn't answer, and I sent you a text that said answer.
Yeah. Yeah, because you were, that morning, like I said, you were trying to do the Andy thing, and then it was like, okay, and then I was like, all right, I probably got to go to a press conference here in about 2 hours. I have a feeling, so.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't getting out of there. We had the story, and we put a hot board up. I remember that. We got lucky that the lunch hour worked out perfectly.
Oh, that's right.
Because we were like, because I called you, and I said, okay, we got an hour, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the day that I got made fun of so much because I don't cover basketball, and I'd been to a couple games at the Pavilion, and I walked in that night because that morning because they said, hey, we're gonna do the Andy press conference at the Pavilion media room or whatever. Just park like in the loading dock behind it or whatever. And I walk in, and that's not like the way I would come in for a game. So I walk into the loading dock right there, and I went, I have no idea where to go. I'm lost, and I was completely lost in the bowels of the Pavilion. Kyle Campbell had to come get me, and I walked in the room. I was like, really? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Yeah, sure, whatever. No, that's finding. You can find 12, but it will be much more complicated for this because, yeah, like I said, this is going to be just one thing after another, day, week, month, before we get to that point. If we get to that point.
And I'll say this too about this is where these types of cases, and we're jumping way ahead, but that's okay. It's a podcast. I would think that if nothing else comes about that's a mitigating factor here, I would think that the state is going to seek a capital offense. I would think they're going to at least have that on the table. And I'll tell you this, as a juror who's been there, and in my case, the defendant had confessed. And I don't know whether this Thiesfeld has confessed or not. I have no idea. But in this case, the defendant had confessed, and so guilt was not difficult to ascertain. But it was still, when we went back into that room, and you still had to convict somebody of first-degree murder, even in a case where you knew he did it. It wasn't that it was difficult, but there was a weight. There was an ominous weight in that room. And when we got to the penalty phase, it was very emotional. I mean, it really was. Even though the law somewhat dictated us doing what we did, it was still a very difficult thing to do. And I'm not making fun of anybody here, but sometimes when Internet Billy Badass goes, "I'd have no problem at all," yeah, you would. You'd be surprised when you actually have to fill out the forms and you actually have to do it, and the families are all in that courtroom, and it's a powerful. They changed the way that I viewed jury service after that. I would, all jokes aside, never try to get out of it again. I don't want to do it again, but I would never try to get out of it again, because if everyone tries to get out of it, who gets left doing it? And frankly, on these cases where any kind of a case where you're dealing with someone's freedom and justice, you need intelligent, engaged citizenry to take that seriously and do their duty.
How long are you? Do you get a pass, if you will, now?
I think 3 years.
Okay. So
I'm free here. Obviously, I would
be free
anyway.
here anyway.
I've commented on this publicly, so I'd be out. But I'm at no risk. And you aren't either. I've done you a favor by talking about this for 2 days. See, you're welcome.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem. I don't know. We'll see what happens today. It's very possible, barring something really, really breaking. I don't see a ton happening today.
What is it what are the things that you'd love to know the answers to right now? I'll tell you mine.
Well, I mean, whether she was pregnant.
Whether she was pregnant. Why he was in Memphis. Was he fleeing? Or was he going home? Where was he headed?
If there were blood on his clothes, for sure.
Yeah, and if there was indeed blood on those clothes, obviously they're going to be testing for DNA, and
which means what were those 48 hours for him like? If it's all true, obviously.
Well, we know that some of those 48 hours were spent on social media.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, was that an attempt on his part to look normal, like innocent? Or was it just tone deaf? The father has come out and said that, I'm not, listen, we talk about worst nightmares. It's for all of the criticism of the dad and his social media and all of those things, to the best of my knowledge, he's never murdered anyone. And so there is a certain...
Yeah, there's an unfair leap there.
I'm a little hesitant to criticize the dad on the levels that some of the other people out there have criticized him.
The comment that you're about to read or about to talk about, this comes courtesy of, let's see, WMC Action News 5 reporter Kendall Downing out of Memphis is the one that got this. He spoke to the father of Brandon Thiesfeld, Daniel Thiesfeld, and he gave this statement, this quote, whatever. I know my son is innocent, and I have reasons to believe that I can't share anything now, but I would ask everybody to please give the presumption of innocence until proven otherwise. And at that point, he was on his way to Oxford when that statement was given.
Yeah, I got to say that if that's my son charged with murder, and I've got exculpatory evidence, the world is seeing it.
Yeah, We'll see. It'll all play out. When I read that, I didn't necessarily give it a lot of credence either way, if you will. I thought that in some ways, saying anything different would be very surprising. And then, again, like you said, I have a hard time just going, oh, well, he's definitely got something, because there's no way you wouldn't automatically go, hey, immediately. My opinion.
I'd be doing the media tour right now.
Yeah.
I'd be,
you had a press conference when you got to town yesterday.
I certainly would have. And maybe he will.
Maybe it was, hey, let me get there, let me talk to an attorney, and then we'll go from there. I don't know.
I do feel bad for the family. I do. I feel bad for the young man's sister.
Yeah, no doubt.
For his parents.
She's a student here as well.
Yeah, the whole thing about the dad's radical right or whatever. Yeah, so what? I mean, that he's a human. That's his son. I mean, it's worse nightmare stuff there too.
Just what else? Anything else you have off the top of your head you really want to know?
Oh, I'd love to know what the real extent of their relationship was. It clearly wasn't a committed, just based on his social media alone, it wasn't a committed relationship. It wasn't a steady boyfriend-girlfriend kind of a thing, if you will. There's some questions about his background that I'd like answered. Heavy.com, who I have no idea whether they are a legitimate media outlet or not, they reported that on his Facebook profile, which I think has since been taken down, that he said he graduated from one high school when indeed he graduated from another.
He went to the school that was listed as his alma mater on Facebook until at some point during his high school career, and then he transferred to some sort of academy following that. Yeah. And finished up at that academy, which was not listed on his Facebook profile.
Which I found weird. But there's a lot.
It's weird, or it's just one of those things you never change on your Facebook profile. You know what I mean? Like I find it at first blush. I thought, yeah, that's kind of strange. But then I thought, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
of all things, that's not what I'm getting caught up on.
No. I'm not either. Just his social media was disturbing. I'll be honest with you. Here's what I think I might have said this yesterday. So I started digging on his social media yesterday at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it was early.
And by the time it was you and I recorded, I was disturbed. Not just by him either. Just all of I started hitting profiles of people who liked his post, male and female. And I realize it's social media and it's stuff, and kids are kids, but it bothered me. And it still bothers me. I spent the day bothered. And I heard from other parents who were roughly my age, who have kids roughly my age, who were bothered too. Like it's what's that indicative of? How prevalent is that? Is that what we're sending our kids into? I was kind of bothered by it. Still bothered by it. Had a feeling in the pit of my stomach about it that hasn't gone away.
Well,
and I just the and look, I drink. I consume alcohol. I'm not a prude at all. I have nothing against people who don't consume alcohol. It's fine. Whatever. I don't have an opinion. But I don't say that. It was. I wondered if the college culture that I saw in that social media is indicative of what it's really like for the majority of kids. Is the use of alcohol and kind of drugs and just completely casual hookup stuff Is it that prevalent? To the point that does that represent a majority? So we can joke about it, but when I went to college, I didn't drink every night. I didn't drink most nights. And I mean, I went to college before the age of Tinder and stuff, but that wasn't as, for lack of a better word, readily available as it appears to be now. And certainly the culture around it wasn't what it appears to be now. And I'm not getting on a high horse here. I'm not. I've never done that. I'm not going to start now. I'm not going to get into some religious debate with people because I'm not qualified to do that. But it just that trip down that social media rabbit hole yesterday bothered me a lot.
Yeah, and I don't think this is extreme anywhere near the way that portrays, but it's a fair question. I mean, hell, I say that. I mean, I've been out of college 13 years now.
Example, if my daughter had told me, hey, I'm dating, I went out with Bill Jones, and I pull up his social media profile, and I see that,
you're done right there.
We're done. We're having a heart-to-heart conversation instantly with, wait a minute, what the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? That's why I say I'd love to know what the extent of that. There are pictures of them at a couple of what appear to be like sorority events where he appears to be her date.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Continue in 1 second. First, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing in Oxford, and the float down option, so you can lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you get that lower rate. Also, those interest rates are as low as they've been in about 2 years. So if you purchased or refinanced during that period, maybe it's time to talk to Jason about getting a little better deal right now. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast is also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about a trip, maybe summer's pretty much done. Maybe you're wanting to close out the summer with the trip. Maybe you're thinking about something during the fall break, planning something special around the holidays. Get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. He's what you do is you give him a call and you say, hey, here's what I'm kind of looking to do. These are kind of my parameters. This is my budget. What can you do? And then you sit back, you leave it alone, and he will come up with some options that you would not find on your own, and you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. And until you commit to it, you're not committed to anything. So why not give him a budget? Give him some parameters and let him come up with some ideas. It's 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. If they don't have what you're looking for, they'll get it. And they'll get it quickly. They'll take great care of you. Their service after the sale is absolutely fantastic. I've been doing business with Grenada Nissan for 11 years now. They're great people. You'll love doing business. So if you're in the market for a Nissan, that's the place to go. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He is a big part of Savannah Square. It's a new 9-acre development, 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square. It's conveniently located east of North Lamar, just a short stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center. Savannah Square initially consists of 32 homes ranging in size from about 1,100 square feet to about 2,400 square feet. The model home can be checked out at 215 William Street. Get in touch with Harry. Take a tour of the home. You can see all the wonderful layouts, the impeccable finishes, And then you can learn more at savannahsquareoxford.com. And again, Harry's number 662-801-5621.
Kind of anything there before we kind of move on a little bit?
No, I think I've probably beaten it at this point.
Okay. Just curious. Is it indicative of maybe how much of a star this guy has a chance to be, that it's national news just that Zion Williamson signs with the Jordan brand?
It tells you how much he moves the dial.
Because, I mean, I get that that's news inside the industry a little bit, but, I mean, that was everywhere yesterday when it popped. It was the main thing on sports television.
I've told you this, and I coached a Little League baseball team this spring. It's 12 kids. Baseball. And the only time that I heard them get all excited about something in sports was the night of the NBA draft lottery when they did the ping pong balls or whatever. And when the Pelicans came up number one, every kid in that dugout, some of them 11 years old, some of them 12 years old, some white, some black, all sorts of different backgrounds, buzzing about Zion Williamson's going to New Orleans. Never seen anything like it. Was that a focus group? I mean, a little bit. Carson buzzes about Zion Williamson. Zion this, Zion that. If there's something about Zion, he's in. He has. I mean, look, as Jeffrey says, CBS, ESPN, whoever, during the tournament, they had a camera just on him. There's a reason for that. He's got a chance to be the next really big star. Now, he's got to do it on the floor, but he's got all of the personality and stuff, and he's just got something about him that attracts people. And so, yeah, that's news because he's going to sell a lot of shoes. A lot of shoes.
I'm interested in him, and I am a bit of a focus group because if I care at all, it means something.
Of course.
At all.
Of course.
And now, now, look, it does help that it's semi-local into New Orleans. I would care much less if he played for Sacramento. But
yeah,
it's still relevant.
It's big time. I'll tell you this: if I'm the people at Smoothie King Arena that run the Pelican store, I'm not running out of stock. You can sell a lot of jerseys.
Yeah.
And they'll sell a lot of shoes. He moves the needle in a way that, frankly, no rookie has moved the needle since Shaq.
Ooh.
LeBron.
I mean, it's got to be LeBron, right? LeBron's still more.
No college grad.
Because Zion's much more than, like, Durant.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Durant was. I mean, everybody
to find the college player, you've got to go back before the high school. You know what I mean? You got to go back before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I meant college player, a guy who had college, and I think it's Shaq. Of just players in general to enter the draft that create this kind of buzz. I mean, to enter the game as a rookie, it's LeBron. He's got more buzz coming into the league than Kobe Bryant did. Not even close.
So we talk about this all the time, so I'll mention it here. Over the years, we spent a lot of time on Rocky movies because we both like them. Sylvester Stallone did a big interview in Variety. I hours long, apparently, but I'm reading one of the stories here. And the main part of this story is how, for years, and maybe even to this point, he's had a deep-seated resentment that he was never given any ownership of the Rocky kind of franchise, if you will. He was paid, but he has no ownership stake in it. He says, I have zero ownership of Rocky. Every word, every syllable, every grammatical error was all my fault. It was shocking that it never came to be, but I was told, hey, you got paid, so what are you complaining about? I was furious. That said, he blames his own naivete and lack of business savvy at the time for not pushing the issue hard enough. You don't want to ruffle the feathers of the golden goose, Stallone says. So now, I mean, again, he's made a fortune off of it. And he had some points in it from a budget standpoint and a money-making standpoint, but he has no ownership of the franchise whatsoever.
And that's a shame, because without him, there is no franchise.
Yeah. I get both sides to it, frankly. I'm not overly upset for him, but I do get it.
Yeah, there's no chance of another one, is there?
Well, that's where I was going next. You ready?
Okay.
You ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. So again, I'm reading from Variety. I'm assuming this is correct. He discloses in our interview that he is working on a new Rocky movie for Winkler's production company and MGM, which co-own the franchise, about the one-time boxing champ befriending a young street fighter living in the U.S. illegally. Quote, we're very high on it, says Winkler, noting negotiations are underway for Stallone to write and star in the film. Quote, we're very anxious to make it. Stallone divulged that there are also ongoing discussions about a Rocky prequel as a TV series, likely for a streaming platform. They got it right for the ending. Stop. It's over.
I mean, I
Quit.
don't want you to stop, but
No, you want them to stop. Come on. Do we really care about Rocky befriending a freaking street fighter? We've done that. His name was Tommy Gunn. They fought.
Yeah,
I saw it.
And it didn't go well. I've decided that did not happen. It was a bad dream. No, Rocky. Look, Creed 2. Spoiler alert. Ended perfectly. I know how everyone's gonna do. I'm good with it. I'm at peace. Total spoiler alert. Just turn it off for a minute. 3, 2, 1. Rocky and his kid, they work it out. He gets to go be a grandfather now. He's at peace with it all. Apollo's kid is at peace and is the champ.
It's over.
And even Ivan Drago and his son, now they've settled this conflict and everybody's going to be okay. Life's not going to be perfect for everybody, but everybody's going to be okay. And sometimes just being okay is good.
He doesn't need another protege. I don't want to run the risk of him dying at the end of the freaking movie. And, I mean, okay, so we're supposed to just assume he has no relationship with Michael B. Jordan now? Or is he coming back too? What are we doing?
Yeah, I just, in my mind, I want to see.
They're all tight. Everybody good.
He and Adonis, man, they talk and like,
they have Sunday dinner together. We're all good.
Yeah, and he sits down. Adonis's wife is there, and the kid's there, and everybody's good. And then he gets to go be a granddad, and he goes to his grandson's t-ball game, and everything's cool. Everybody's good. He goes and still takes his chair out to Adrian's gravesite and reads a book to her or whatever, and I'm good with that. Leave it there. Don't mess with me. I'm good. Don't mess me up.
So it said here, I'm reading some questions and answers from this interview that I kind of find interesting. So if anybody doesn't, well, too bad. It's my podcast. Is it true you became a millionaire off the first Rocky? He said it was probably the first and last time anyone ever saw net points pay off. He got net points of 10, which means about $2.5 million. Quote, which for me was unbelievable. Winkler says he made way more than that. Of that, I'm sure. Quote, I'm the luckiest man in the world. You have to understand that in the year before I did Rocky, my total income was $1,400 for the entire year. I got $35 a week as an usher, about $100 a month. Said his deal with MGM, he got $35,000 for the first one. The screenplay was about $25,000, and then $360 a week before taxes. It shot for 25 days. Luckily, there were the WGA minimums. I made about $2,000 for acting. The second deal was for $75,000 all in. $120,000 for the third movie, although he made millions on the back end, obviously, at that point. So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Says who? So you asked for a steak and were refused. Who told you no? And he says, my attorney, Jake Bloom.
Yeah, I wouldn't be very happy with Jake. It's a lot of money. I mean, think about how many times like AMC does. The people at AMC go, well, we got to show something here. Let's do a Rocky
marathon. Yeah, you get Rocky marathons, you get Shawshank Redemption, you get Top Gun. That's what we watch over and over and over and over again. It's all good. He says, I never really pushed it, and by the time we got around to Rocky Balboa, I was in a pretty weak position to say anything. I was in a slump, and it was pretty intense. There was a great sense of finality about it. I couldn't get arrested. I was let go by my agency. Dropped, fired, basically. I mean, because he had a fall off there. I mean, just plummet.
Rocky Balboa was a sneaky good movie. I remember going to that movie anticipating kind of just having a chuckle. And left kind of fulfilled. It
was the weak version of Creed.
Yeah,
it was fine, but it did not have anywhere near the overall satisfaction of Creed.
No, Creed was fantastic, and Creed 2 tied all of the loose ends. Just they nailed it. There's no improving that.
I'm hoping something else doesn't happen.
Sounds like it's going to, though.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
See, he talks about Rocky Balboa, and the question is, there must have been a lot of non-believers that Rocky 6 would work. And he says there was such skepticism, and rightfully so. It's like doing Godfather 20. I get it. The core audience had grown up and was gone. I said it's not about boxing. It's about grief and loss. He finally lost his love, which is the end of the equation for him. The only way he knows how to deal with it cathartically is through fighting. I got this beast inside, and it worked. Rocky 6 became the 2006 release, Rocky Balboa.
It worked. And it was about grief and loss. It was. It was about... It was absolutely about that. It was about Adrian, and it was about his inability to kind of move on, and about his son, and there was a lot there. I mean, I thought it was a powerful movie in a lot of ways.
It says the basic premise, if it comes to be, is Rocky meets a young, angry person who got stuck in this country when he comes to see his sister. He takes him into his life, and unbelievable adventures begin, and they wind up south of the border. It's very, very timely. No, I'm out.
No,
please, no.
No, Rocky, I don't care.
I don't need Sylvester Stallone and Rocky getting into the immigration debate today. I'm good.
No, I don't either. I don't need Rocky Balboa saying tear down this wall. I don't.
He's already torn down one, Neil. What's another?
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. Rocky Balboa completely destroyed the Cold War and ended the Soviet Union.
Maybe
Christmas
he ends up like an
Day,
ambassador or something when it's all over.
But that's enough. I mean, what other political legacy does one need? You're the 4-time world heavyweight champion, and you ended the Soviet Union? That's plenty. You don't need to dive into this Mexico abyss. It's too complicated.
Maybe he gets some cash out of it. I mean, he is broke.
Balboa's broke?
Well, no, I guess the restaurant's done all right, isn't it?
Yeah, and you got to think that he's.
You think Adonis is helping him out?
I would think, because Adonis is going to fight a little. In my mind, Rocky still trains some with Adonis.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. And his grandson's there. In my mind, he's finally getting out of Philly, and he's going wherever his grandson is, and gonna be okay. Not his grandson, his son, but he has a grandson, and it's all good. Just kind of everything's good. Adrian's not there. He misses her, but he's found some peace. And like Adrian's looking down, and she's saying, "So glad that Rocky and her son have worked things out," and it's even given her some peace.
It's fair.
I don't want to mess that up. I don't need Rocky getting into politics and whether he's for Trump or against Trump or all that. That's just too much. Just leave it alone. We got enough politics.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried. Just saying.
I don't need a Rocky Balboa movie about politics during an election year that is already going to be an absolute nightmare. Do you realize what's coming? People, this 2020 election thing is going to be 2020 is going to be one of the most miserable years to live in.
That's very true.
Because everyone is going to be so worked up on both sides about the apocalyptic ramifications of an election. And for people like you and me who are like, it really doesn't affect me that much.
We just thought 16 was intense.
Yeah, it's nothing compared to this. This is going to be so dramatic and over the top. And
yeah. Oh, before that time gets here, maybe it would be good to go check out G&M Pharmacy. They got that CBD oil that might calm you down, get rid of some anxiety, some stress. It will assist with that if you so wish. They've got it where you take some capsules, put it under your tongue, many different applications and options. You can find out more at 662-236-2222. And while you're making the call, or maybe go to the website at tysondrugs.com or gandmpharmacy.com, and you're in the need of some sildenafil, the brand alternatives to Viagra and Cialis and all that stuff. Remember, it gets you ready in as little as 15 minutes. You just click the product request button right there on the website. They're discreet. They'll help you out, and they'll get it to you when you need it. Again, 662-236-2222.
Get you ready. If you are on the hunt for a great new gift to thank your best employees or clients, check out Blue Delta Jeans Corporate Package. Blue Delta will come to your office or corporate retreat, set up all their options, and measure your team or your clients for a truly unique gift. And if you want to incorporate your company logo, that's no problem. Blue Delta will custom print pocket linings with your company logo to ensure that your gift is never forgotten. For more details or to schedule a time for the team from Blue Delta to come see you, email info, I-N-F-O, at bluedeltajeans.com. The podcast also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust and Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services. Let me make this simple. If your company has a retirement plan, a 401k plan, whatnot, that you're just not really pleased with, you have an existing plan, but it's just not working. It's a pain in the ass. It's not performing the way that you want it to perform. Get in touch with Pinnacle Trust Advisory Services. They'll come out. They'll sit down with you. They'll consult you on your current plan designs. They'll look at your ongoing plan, your investment fund reviews. They'll talk to you about employee communication, investment education, and they'll conduct a plan sponsor fiduciary analysis just for you. That initial consultation is free, and probably something that you should at least look into if you're running a business and your 401k, your retirement plan is not performing the way that you think it should be. So the Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services, they'll conduct a complimentary, no obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current plan. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the Oxford Exxon podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. It's pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Don't miss 1 minute of the action at the Vault this season as Ole Miss football arrives this September. Reserve your season tickets with the new 2019 season ticket pricing for just $299. For more information, visit OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com.
It is fairly amazing that they did, 8 movies, and 6 of them are certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. That's hard to do with 7 sequels.
Yeah.
Only 2 movies out of the whole bunch have rotten ratings.
Obviously 5 and 3.
5 and 4.
5 and 4. 4?
4.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna find those people, and I'm gonna sit down with them and say, get help.
Critic consensus on Rocky IV: it inflates the action to absurd heights, but it ultimately rings hollow thanks to a story that hits the same basic beats as the first 3 entries in the franchise.
Total bullshit. Listen.
It only beat Rocky 5 by 11 points.
If you want to tell me that Rocky 3 drags a little, if you want to tell me that Rocky 2
drags.
That Rocky 2 drags a lot.
Rocky 2 is the only Rocky I will not watch when it comes on television.
Yeah, until the end.
Yeah, when she wakes up.
Yeah,
when she looks and goes, just win or go win or whatever.
Where she looks at him and says, just win.
Yeah.
And you're like, finally, Adrian's on board. Because before that, you really spend most of Rocky 2 going, Adrian, you are absolutely castrating this man right now. You are ruining him. I mean, she's a horrible wife in Rocky 2 until she wakes up. And then she becomes wife of the year. The greatest wife ever. Like, hey, you do what you got to do, but let's win this thing. And the kids got is it Rocky 3 where Rocky 4 the kids got a robot? That's a good one.
Somebody gave it a poor review because of this. The review, and it's a rotten rating on Rocky 4, is dated Cold War themed boxing sequel has violence. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You ever play that soundtrack when you're out running?
I never have, no.
Really? Oh, okay. Do it sometime. Play that soundtrack when you're out running, and I swear to God, your time's going to be the best you've had in a long time.
Couple of those songs kick in, and you're ready to go, huh?
You're just running, man.
When he's shifting gears 37 times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start picturing Rocky working out in the snow and the ice. And next thing you know, man, you're just like throwing weight around.
Yeah, Creed is actually the best reviewed movie of the series. It's at 95% ahead of the original Rocky at 93%.
Yeah, from a cinematic standpoint, I think it's the best one. It's fantastic.
Then Creed 2 comes in at 84% is the third one. Let's see, Rocky Balboa is next at 77%.
Yeah, I'm with them so far.
Let's see, Rocky 2 does 73%. Rocky 3 does 66%. It says it's noticeably subject to the law of diminishing returns, but Rocky 3 still has enough brawny spectacle to stand in the ring with the franchise's better entries. That's fair.
It's fair. The end of it is great.
Oh, you like the end of 3?
Yeah, there are moments in that deal where the Apollo Rocky relationship is weird.
It drags in the going to LA first few minutes there.
Yeah.
That part drags.
Yeah.
And then Rocky 4 does 40% and Rocky 5 does 29%.
My Oklahoma City Thunder, they revealed their new uniforms yesterday. They really changed it up.
What'd they do?
They really changed it. The white uniform, which used to say Thunder across the front, now says Oklahoma City across the front.
Okay.
The blue uniform, which used to say Oklahoma City across the front, now says Thunder across the front. The orange OKC uniform remains basically the same. And now we'll give them this. This is the 20th anniversary, I guess, the 25th anniversary.
I did see these suits
of the bombing in Oklahoma City. Which, if you ever have time in Oklahoma City, the memorial is incredibly well done. It is a powerful place to visit, and you should absolutely do it. The suit to commemorate the 25th anniversary is really, really good. I'll give them that. It's fantastic. The other one's creativity got lost.
Don't they have Love's as a sponsor? Is that right?
Yeah, and
that needs to be toned down.
That patch is too big and it's too yellow.
It needs to be white instead of yellow.
I agree, and just made a little smaller. I'm sure the people at Love's
can't do that. Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Love's is probably very happy with the size and color of that patch, but
you can't miss it.
No, because it contrasts against the uniform so much. It's not good.
No, they need to. Frankly, they need to make the background blue on the blue and white on the white.
Anyway, Yeah.
No one's asking my opinion.
No. How bad are they going to be?
Well, probably not bad enough unless they can find takers for Danilo Gallinari and Chris Paul. I'm a little concerned that they can win 32, 33 games.
Oh, that's not good. That's dead area.
Yeah, and then you're at the bottom of the lottery. I don't, I'm for blow it up, tear it all the way down.
This is a big deal at the time. This date in 2004 was when Veritek and A-Rod had that big benches clearing brawl between the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Ooh, that was big at the time.
Yeah. Today in 2004, 15 years ago.
We didn't talk about the White Sox and the Nationals both came back from the break with netting extended all the way.
Oh, did they? Good.
Yeah, everyone needs to do it. The other day, Francisco Lindor hit a line drive in Cleveland that hit a 3-year-old. I mean, it just...
It's so dumb. It's such an easy deal.
We were at Wrigley over the weekend, and again, I know Billy Badass says, pay attention. There were some balls hit that it wouldn't matter how much you were paying attention. I mean, the ball clearly is juiced. The players are incredibly strong. And you get guys hitting exit velocity 107, I don't really think it matters how much you're paying attention. You don't have time to react to that. It's just on you.
Of course.
And we were sitting on Saturday down the first baseline, right at the edge of the netting. And so I made a mental note. Okay, I'm going to watch through the netting, and then I'm going to watch throughout the netting and see if there's any real difference in my ability to enjoy the action. And the answer is the human brain adjusts to the netting in about a second.
Yeah, you immediately see through it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not even a noticeable thing to discuss within 30 seconds.
I had a great view of Javi Baez's home run, of Fernando Tatis's home run, of Manny Machado's home run, because they're all right-handed hitters, and so you were able to see it. And then I had a great view of Baez's tag, his blind tag in the ninth inning, and all of that was through a net. The net did nothing to harm my enjoyment of a contest. Watched Craig Kimbrell pitch through a net. All was good.
And while you're not going to be worried every pitch and it hurting necessarily your enjoyment of the game, there is a semblance of being behind the net to relax a little bit, even if it's kind of in your subconscious.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and you'll still, people go, well, what about the foul balls? You're still going to get foul balls where guys hit a ball softly and pop it up foul. And the worst thing that happens in those deals is somebody gets a finger broken trying to, you can fix a finger.
Let's see. I guess that's about it. Check out rebelgrove.com for a lot of conversation, a lot of stuff. Still, football is soon. We're going to get back to our normal our normal deal. Football will be here before you know it. Practice in a little over a week, and then the season not too long before that. I guess about a month, but they'll be doing stuff every day. There'll be plenty of news, and the summer is almost over from a semester standpoint. So head on over to rebelgrove.com. We'll be back tomorrow, and we will talk to you then.